gentlemen, it's Lance from NerfThis.TV again, and today we are having a look at this. I finally went over to the dark side and got myself an Android phone. I say the dark side not because they're any worse or any better than iOS, except that I have mostly iOS devices or Apple devices within my house and my office, so I've bought into their ecosystem. So this was a bit of a new one for me. I must admit I quite like the phone. Just as a side note, this was sold to me as a red cover, but I like an orange cover and that's what it looks like to me, so it's orange. Okay, just as long as we get that out of the way. I'm not going to do a review on the phone. There's hundreds of reviews out there on the actual phone itself, on the Galaxy S9 Plus, and everybody has good things and bad things to say about it. The reason that I got it was twofold. One, I didn't want to pay 1,300 euros, which is what you pay for an iPhone 10, sorry, in Europe. Just have a look at this, as you can see. So that is definitely not happening. And my carrier had a pretty good deal on this, so I decided, well, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to go Android. Most of the services I use are not actually Apple services, except for Apple Music. They are all Google based, so putting them onto an Android phone is just as easy as putting them onto any other phone. But what I wanted to do with this is test a camera, because it's got quite a unique camera, as everybody knows by now, I'm sure. It's got the dual aperture and all that lovely stuff. But I wanted to use it for video recording. So I did two little tests. One outside in good, fairly decent light. It was a bit cloudy, but a nice light, using both the stock app that comes on the phone and the Filmic Pro, which is, I found, a very good app for iOS. I don't know exactly how it performs on Android. We're going to find out. But I use that because there are features that's got which are quite nice for somebody that's shooting video and wants a little bit more control. Like you can shoot in log, which gives me a bit more color correction availability when I'm actually processing the video. And it does not, however, it's not able to shoot 4K 60 frames a second yet. There's evidently an update coming that will allow that, but the native app obviously can. When you shoot in 4K 60, you're obviously giving up on your optical image stabilization, because it's no longer available at 4K 60, only 4K 30 frames a second. So most of what I shot is 4K 30, unless I had it on a tripod. I've got a little mini tripod with a phone bracket, which I used to get some stabilized footage, which I used in this. So knowing that, I've shot most of it at 4K 30. The limitations of the Filmic Pro app, obviously 4K 30, so I use that. And the other good thing about the Filmic Pro app is that you can shoot it at, they call it Extreme. It's actually a paid add-on for the log, and you can shoot Extreme, which basically is a higher bitrate than the stock app normally shoots at, which is good. So here are the tests. First of all, there's a sort of a low light scenario where I did it indoors, and I just shot on a little tripod, a little pan from a darker area to a lighter area with a window behind it, so that there's brightness on the wall. And these are the results of that. As you can see, the Filmic Pro app, you get a little bit more on the color side of things. The base app, not so much, but it does a decent job. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that footage, especially for B-roll, that type of thing. This part, when I shot in the outdoors, obviously the light was a bit better and the camera performs a bit better. Again, you can see the difference between the log footage that I've actually color corrected and the base footage. I also used the two different aperture settings, because obviously this has got a low light aperture of 1.5, 1.4, I might be lying, but it's 2.5 I think is the base. In fact, we can check it here. We're going to Pro Mode. Okay, so 2.4 is the base and 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 is the low light. The reason that I was looking at this camera is pretty much for B-roll. When you're sitting in a restaurant or something and you want to discreetly take a little video of the food that you're having so that you can describe your experience or whatever the case may be, you start whipping out your full-blown camera with its microphones and all that type of thing, and people are going to, oh, hold on, what is this guy doing? You sort of stand out in the crowd. Whereas with something like this, it's a lot easier, and if you're going to get decent footage and it's usable, that's something I'll do in a later video, is check how usable the footage is, on the go, editing mobile, that type of thing, and how hard it is to get it from the Android phone onto my iPad, which is something I haven't quite crossed yet. Anyway, so it's a lot easier for you to pull this out and shoot a little bit of video than having something like, let me show you my little setup here. So as you can see, you want to try and pull something like that out of your bag in the middle of a restaurant, and people are going to stop and go, hold on, who's this guy, what is he doing, and why is he recording in my restaurant? So that's just one of the things. Between the two cameras, if it wasn't for Apple's pricing situation right now, I probably would have gone for an iPhone, simply because, as I said, I'm in the ecosystem and it's easier for me. But their cameras are pretty similar, apart from the dual aperture on the Samsung Galaxy. They both shoot 4K 60, which is great. They both aren't stabilized at 4K 60, which is not so great. But they both have optical image stabilization if you're shooting at 4K 30, that type of thing, which were just a quick run and gun. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus video on the go. Just a little brief video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the little bell so that you get notifications of future videos, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.